Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the 11th episode in our Empowering You to Empower Them series presented by Product Management Today and sponsored by Logi Analytics. I'm Michelle, the webinar coordinator of Product Management Today, and I'm so excited to bring you this fresh session with hard-earned insight about the best ways to increase customer retention in an e-commerce business. I'm really looking forward to talking today with our wonderful speaker, Bhavana and Angadi, in what I'm sure will be a fascinating and illuminating conversation. As a reminder, we are recording today's session just in case you have to leave early. If you have missed any episodes in this series, you can go to the series landing page to access them. We are sending the landing page link to the series page right now. Up next, before we go any further, I want to thank Logi Analytics for sponsoring this webinar series and helping us to make it happen. Logi Analytics empowers the world's software teams with the most intuitive, developer-grade embedded analytics solutions and a team of dedicated people invested in your success. Logi leverages your existing tech stack so you can quickly build, manage, and deploy your application. And because Logi supports unlimited customization and white labeling, you have total control to make the application uniquely your own. Over 2,100 application teams have trusted the Logi platform to help power their businesses with sophisticated analytics capabilities. Logi Analytics is headquartered in McLean, Virginia, with offices in Ireland, England, Ukraine, and China. Learn more about what's possible with Logi at logianalytics.com. Thanks again, Logi Analytics. Up next, let's get some technical things out the way. Please feel free to ask questions during today's session. You can do so by submitting them into the questions panel on the right side of your screen. Great questions make a great session, so please submit your questions throughout the webinar to get even more fresh insights from Bhavana. My wonderful colleague Tom will be fielding your questions today. He'll be happy to answer anything you might have, so pull up the questions panel and say hello to let him know that you're listening. Lastly, if you have any audio issues during today's presentation, you may wish to dial in by phone. You can do so by selecting the More button in the upper right portion of your screen, and then select the Switch to Phone option. Up next, today we'll be hearing from Bhavana Angadi. As a software QA engineer turned product extraordinaire, Bhavana Angadi is a senior product manager at Hopscotch and was previously the product manager at Big Basket. With 5+ years of experience in the e-commerce industry, she mentors inspiring PMs, shares valuable insights on her blog, and shares interesting stories of product, design, SEO, technology, and e-commerce. She is a designer at heart, constantly keeps product in mind, is an engineer by roots, and a mentor by passion. She regularly shares her learnings on LinkedIn and believes in giving back to the community. Now that I've introduced you all to our esteemed speaker, without further ado, take it away, Bhavana.
Right. So thank you, Michelle, for the great introduction. And thanks everyone for joining in. And I hope you're doing all well. So without much delay, let's quickly get started. So what are we going to talk about today? So today we're going to talk about three main topics. Firstly, it would be about communication. So how do we engage with the customers by sending the right communication? And the second topic would be about how do you build an effective customer service portal? And the third one being how do you collect feedback from customers? Because only when you hear customers' opinions, you'll be able to make your business better. So in each of these, we will be talking about like three topics. So in communication, we'll be talking about what is transaction communication, what is promotion communication, and what is information communication. What is the right medium for each of these, right? And coming to effective customer service portal, of course, you might have experienced self-service while using Amazon, or you might have also experienced interacting with chatbots, right? And the second point would be about how can you make it easy for the customer support agents, right? So that they know what the customer has come from, like what is the concern that the customer is facing and why they have come reaching out to customer support. And coming to collecting feedback, we will be doing it. The best practices is that you collect feedback after a customer places an order and once the order is delivered. So here, mostly whatever I'll be talking about would be applicable to e-commerce applications. Of course, some of these you can also plug it in B2B SaaS products. But mostly I'll be giving examples of e-commerce companies mostly in India, like Amazon, Big Basket, Myntra, Zomato, Swiggy. So yeah, let's get started. So starting with the problem, right? So if you see the screenshots on the right, so here you will see that people are saying, okay, their order was not delivered. There is no customer care number. They're not able to reach out to customer support, and they just write a bad review on your Play Store or App Store and move on. They switch to their competitor, right? And then the second problem where he's talking about there was a payment problem, like the money would have gotten debited, but then it still says that you have not paid for the order. See, these problems will definitely exist. Like, even though your application is 95% perfect, there will still be that 5% where every application will go through glitches, right? So it is very important that we handle these five cases very gracefully, right? So we cannot afford to lose customers because of this 5% of glitches, right? So that's why even the Microsoft survey confirms that 90% of the respondents, they said that customer service is what is very important, whether they have to stick to a brand, right? So when they're sticking to a brand, that is what is retention, right? So it's very important for us to have a nice relationship with the customer, keep them engaged. You necessarily don't have to build any gamification platform, but having that right, sending that right communication when required, handling those complaints or queries gracefully, that is what will drive retention. Right. So let's get started with customer communication. So the first one, which is very important, is the transactional communication. So what is transactional communication? So let's say Michelle is the customer of, let's say, Myntra. Now, as soon as she does a sign up on Myntra, there is an email which goes, hey, thank you, Michelle, for signing up on Myntra. And let's say, and just to give a heads up, Myntra is an online platform which sells clothes and accessories, jewels, and all of that. So it's a fashion e-commerce basically. So now let's say Michelle signed up and then she gets an email saying, hey, hi, welcome to Myntra. And then she places an order saying, and then she gets this option, she gets this email or SMS saying, okay, your order is delivered. So there is an order life cycle, right? So, and the typical journey is, okay, your order is placed and then your order is packed and then your order items are out for delivery and then there is order delivered, right? So this is an ideal journey. Of course, there are many things which can go wrong, right? Not always, but yes, there are always cases where some of the orders may have to go through some hassle, right? So just to give you an example, I'll talk about a Big Basket example, okay? So let's say Michelle ordered 20 items from Big Basket. And out of those 20 items, let's say while all those 20 items were getting packed in the warehouse, let's say a cheese packet, there's only one cheese packet in the warehouse, and let's say it was expired. So now, as a business, we cannot send that expired cheese product to Michelle, right? So, what email or what communication needs to be sent to Michelle is that, hey, sorry, we could not deliver one item because of, let's say, it was expired or it was not up to the quality that we expect it to be. So, it is good that if you can communicate about it proactively rather than telling about it or Michelle figuring it out that, oh, I have not even gotten the cheese packet which I was wanting, right? So here it is about sending an order modification email saying that, okay, only 19 out of 20 items will be delivered. And sorry, we could not deliver the other item. So this is order modification email. And let's talk about another common use case where an order gets delayed, right? So let's say you are expecting an Amazon order tomorrow, and now for some reason it could not be delivered by tomorrow. Let's say it will come after 2 more days. So in that case, it is if you as a business, I mean, if Amazon business already knows that, okay, Michelle's order will not be delivered tomorrow, it will be delivered only 2 days, it is better to inform that, saying that, hey, sorry, your order would be delayed due to some operational constraints, right? So, and mostly customers are empathetic. They do understand because it's not a very frequent case, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is you have to communicate at every stage in the order life cycle, even if there are any hiccups, be it delay or be it, okay, item is not getting delivered and all of that. So what is the recommended medium of communication when it comes to transactions? So the best is, I'll say SMS, because SMS is something which will definitely be, which I would say, like, let's say 80 to 90% of them will definitely read that SMS. Push notifications, you cannot completely rely on them because not everyone would turn on the notification, right? And these days, I mean, the operating systems, they understand about push notifications so well that, let's say, Michelle as a customer is not checking Big Basket's notifications or Mintra's notifications. It will just try to snooze or it will push it down, right? So the operating systems have gotten very intelligent that way. So it's very important that to send the right push notifications, but of course, it may not be always turned on in the customer's phone. So SMS is a great way, push notifications, and emails. See, in push notifications and in SMSs, there's always a character limit, right? So maybe it's around 140 to 150 characters. So you cannot put all the details that you would want to communicate. So email is the best way in that case because you can put in all the details that is required for a particular email. And coming to WhatsApp, so these days WhatsApp is pretty popular, and that has also evolved as a channel for businesses to engage with the customers. So WhatsApp, again, you will have to take permission from the customer before you send it. So these four would be a good medium of communication for sending transactional emails, SMS, push notifications. So on the right is what you see an email, a transactional email saying that, hey, Bhavana, your order has been shipped, right? And you can also track your order using this button here, right? So coming to the next one is promotional communication. Promotional communication, it is basically used for remarketing, right? So you would have seen push notifications being sent by every business, right? So on the right is what you see, an email from Swiggy Instamart where they're trying to say, okay, you can get your groceries or ice creams being delivered in 15 to 30 minutes, right? So it's basically that, let's say I signed up on Swiggy Instamart as a customer, and now I did not place any order. So now Swiggy Instamart will keep sending this email saying that, hey, come order, right? So that is remarketing. Of course, it is also applicable to all the existing customers who have been buying in your e-commerce app. So this promotional communication is used mainly to communicate about any offers or any sale period which is going on, right? So the Great Indian Festival sale is going on. So you would want to talk about it and tell all your customers that, hey, come and buy something in the sale, right? So what is the recommended medium of communication for this? Again, it depends on what content you're sending. So for personalized offers, emails and push notifications are the best. So what do I mean by personalized offer? So let's say Praveen, as a customer, Amazon customer, he is using Head and Shoulder shampoo, right? So, and he generally places an order for Head and Shoulder shampoo every 2 months. So now Amazon business knows that, oh, Praveen did not place an order for Head and Shoulder shampoo in the last 3 months. So now they can send a personalized email or a personalized push notification. Hey, I mean, it's been a while since you ordered this item. Maybe it is running out soon. So why don't you buy it? And you could also put in some extra discount for that particular product for Praveen. So that is a personalized offer, and you could send it in email or in push notifications. But coming to non-personalized offers, like I said, the Great Indian Festival, which the sale which is run by Amazon. So those things you can always put it on social media where there are a lot of followers. It will go in everyone's feed, and of course you can use emails and push notifications also. And one important thing to note is using SMS and WhatsApp can be considered intrusive in nature, right? So you would not want to send SMS every day saying, hey, this offer is going on, this sale is going on, come back, right? So it could be little intrusive in nature. So emails are slightly not intrusive because either it would go in your promotions tab, updates, or in social, right? So again, WhatsApp, why I say that you have to use carefully is because, see, WhatsApp, let's say Praveen as a customer, he would have given, say, Swiggy the permission to send transaction communication over WhatsApp. Now, if we start sending promotional communication also, hey, come by again, or this is the offer. So people, if at all they feel it is intrusive, they can actually block you, right, from sending WhatsApp messages. So that is the reason, if at all Praveen happens to block it, then basically you're losing a communication channel even for the transaction communication. So that is why for offers and sale period, for any remarketing purposes, it's better to use emails and push notifications and social media wherever applicable. So that is about promotion communication. And coming to the last one in customer communication is informational communication. So what is this about? And why is this important? See, information communication can be sent when, let's say, vaccination update, right? So let's hear what you can see, right? The screenshot that you see on the right. It is where Zomato is trying to tell that 60,000 delivery partners were vaccinated, right? So you're more confident that, okay, there is lesser risk when you order from Zomato. And most companies did it. Swiggy did it. Zomato did it. Big Basket also did it. So this is a update which business wants to communicate to customers. And another example could be what are the safe practices that are followed in the warehouse to ensure that, okay, there is social distancing and all of that, right? So it's more of company trying to be transparent about what they're doing and how can they establish that trust and maintain that trust with the customers. So here, what would be the recommended medium of communication? I would say it would be emails and social media, right? Because this is typically, it has a little more information. So again, WhatsApp and SMS could be little intrusive. So emails are good, and social media, of course. And here's a quick tip on how can you achieve better email deliverability. Okay. See, whenever as a company, so let's say you are from a startup, an e-commerce company, and you are sending transaction communication and informational and promotional one. So now one important thing that you have to keep in mind is it is better to keep the sender email ID separate. Okay. So for transactional communication, use one email ID. And for promotional and informational, use another one. Okay. And I'll tell you the reason. It is because, let's say here, Zomato, it keeps sending me one promotional email every day. Okay. Now, if at all it is sending transactional and promotional using the same email ID, I may feel this is spam. Okay, I'm getting this Zomato emails every day. I would just unsubscribe. So now when people unsubscribe, basically, um, even transaction communication gets blocked, which is not good for the customer and it is not good for the business also, right? So that is why it is very important that you separate this separate. It's better that you have a separate email ID for transaction communication and a separate one for promotions and informational. So, and one quick thing is, I mean, maybe if you can tell this to engineers, they will be definitely able to do it. So whenever you're using send different email address, it also has to be sent from a different IP address. So, I mean, that is how it works. So this is a very quick tip. It really helps. It really helps businesses and customers so that whenever you are blocked from promotional communication, it's to ensure that your transaction communication is not impacted. So I would like to take a break here. Misha, can we run a quick poll now?
Absolutely. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and run this poll. How many chances will you give to the customer support of a brand before you switch to their competitors? The first option is only once. Second one is 2 to 3 chances. And the last one is will always be forgiven. And I'm going to leave this poll up for about 30 seconds so we can allow all of our attendees to respond here. I'm really interested to see what your thoughts are on this, Bhavana, because these results are really interesting.
Awesome. Thank
Alrighty,
you.
leaving it up for a couple of more seconds.
Sure.
Alrighty, perfect. And sharing the results. What do you think of these?
Oh, great. Okay. So the results are 22% people, they'll give only one chance before they switch to a competitor, and 75% of them, 78% of them, they'll give about 2 to 3 chances. So basically, it's very clear that a company will get a maximum of 3 chances before they lose a customer, right? So it's very important as a business to provide that right customer support as much as possible, because that is what will determine whether the customer will stay with you or possibly switch to a competitor. So yeah, thank you, Michelle, for running the poll. I will now move on. And thanks everyone for voting. Yeah. So the next section is, how do you build an effective customer support portal? Okay, so if at all you are an e-commerce shopper, you would already know about this. That in most of the apps, you will find this feature of order tracking, and it's one of the fundamental features in any customer support, right? So people would want to know where their order is, in which state, right? So this is a example of a big basket order tracking screen. So where we will know, okay, it was the order is placed, and the next thing is it will be packing in progress. And then once it is packed, that will show up here. And then there is on the way. That means the order is on the way, it will reach you soon. And then once it is delivered, you will see the status here, right? So having this order tracking feature is extremely important, because people would not want to contact customer support for such basic things. Right. So before I explain about the 3 things in building customer support portal, I would like to teach you about what is the classification of customer support tickets. Okay, so there are 3 main classification types. That's what I have learned. So first one being query. So query as in customers asking, where is my order? How do I renew Prime membership? Right, and how long will that Prime membership be valid for? So these are queries, right? And then comes request. So request is when customers say that, hey, can you cancel my order, right? So for some reason, let's say they've bought, they had ordered on Amazon, and then they have found that product offline. So now they would want to cancel that order. So that is a request. And then another example could be rescheduling the order or rescheduling a ticket, right? So for example, there is an app called Redbus. Now in Redbus, so Redbus is basically a online platform to book bus tickets. So now let's say you had booked it for tomorrow, and I have to go from Bangalore to Trivandrum, and for some reason I want to go after 2 days. Now you would want to reschedule that ticket, right? So those queries can be classified as request. And the third one is complaints, I think, which all of you might know, that if at all you're not happy with the quality of the product that was delivered, you would definitely want to return or exchange, right? So bad quality product or delayed delivery. So these things get classified as complaints. Okay. See, again, one important thing here to note is the complaints part. So many e-commerce companies, they have a complaint management system. So what happens there is, let's say there are a lot of delayed delivery cases in a particular area of Bangalore. Let's say in JP Nagar of Bangalore, there are frequent delayed delivery cases. Now, what will happen is all this gets tracked in a complaint management system, and it will eventually go to the last mile delivery operations team, saying that, hey, we are receiving a high number of delayed delivery cases from your area, right? So it is basically to have that accountability, right? So that is about delayed delivery cases where the operations team will be held responsible. Now, similarly, let's say we understand that we see that, okay, in Delhi there are in a particular area, in a particular sector, there are a lot of complaints related to bad quality products, right? So again, there are 2 things which are possible here. If it's about fruits and vegetables, then it will be definitely the responsibility of the warehouse, because the quality control team which is present in the warehouse, they are accountable for it, right? Before sending that item for delivery, a good quality control should be done. That check should be done and only then sent, right? And similarly, if at all we see a lot of expired product complaints, then in that case, the complaint will go to the source. Let's say the vendor. Let's say a particular vendor. In case of Amazon, let's say you are ordering some eyeliner, and it is 10 customers ordered eyeliner from a particular vendor, and if 9 of them are complaining that, oh, you are sending expired product, then the complaint will flow back to that particular vendor. So that is why this classification is very important, so that you can improve your whole supply chain. So that is how effectively you can build a customer support system. Cool. So moving on, the first thing that you can do is automate whatever possible. Right? Of course, there are many things which can be automated, but pick the right one. Pick the one where most of your queries are coming for, and see what you can do there. And the idea is it should be like a DIY, do it yourself, right? So you should enable the customer to reschedule the ticket or cancel the order by themselves. That is the most basic thing that we can do, right? So here is an example of Redbus. So where you can click on reschedule and then select a future date, or you can choose to cancel the ticket. So here is an example of Redbus where there is self-service available. Okay, now another example I would like to give you, which is about how you can ensure easy returns and refunds. So let's say Michelle is the customer and she ordered an item from Amazon. Let's say it was $2 or $1. Okay, now as a customer, she did not like the product for some reason. Now she would want to return that item, let's say, which was like $3. Now the thing is, there are two options. So the ideal journey is that she raises a return request, and then Amazon sends the person to pick it up, and then that item should flow back to warehouse, and then a refund is initiated to Michelle, right? So now there is a lot of cost which is getting a lot of operational cost is involved here, right? So of course, if at all the product worth is too much, let's say like $100 and all, definitely we have to do this whole process. But now let's say for a $3 item, Amazon would rather choose to do auto refunds without even picking up the product, right? And this has happened with me also. I have experienced this. So what typically happens is they would not want to do this operation that, oh, a a person will be sent for pickup, and then again you have to get it back into the inventory and then initiating the refund. Just say that, hey Michelle, sorry for the inconvenience that was caused, and refund that $3 to Michelle's account, right? And then say that please discard the product. We won't be doing any pickup here, right? So this is very important because not all return requests have to be picked up, right? So there are some requests which are of low value. Let's say you can build a technology, and it's a very simple logic that you can put, right? Like a amount less than, let's say, $3 or $5, you would not want to pick up now, and we can just initiate the refund. So that is how you can use technology, you can build products, and that simple automation framework will help. And a quick tip here is you can build a closed wallet. A closed wallet always helps because one thing is you can use it for faster checkout, but the main advantage that I see here is it can be used for instant refunds, right? So here in this case, in Michelle's case, Amazon already has this. Amazon has a wallet, right? So that $3, I can very quickly just transfer it to her Amazon Pay balance rather than transferring it to the source. Because transferring the money to the source, again, it can typically take somewhere between 2 to 7 working days, right? But if at all you have a wallet, so this is the screenshot of Myntra Credit. So they have a closed wallet. So whenever I return that money, or the money, let's say the 300 rupees or 400 rupees, I can instantly get it in the Myntra Credit, which I can definitely use for future orders. So having a closed wallet definitely helps. Of course, we can't build everything at once, but this should definitely be in your product roadmap. And coming to the second one is make it easy for the customer support agent. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference. So let's say Praveen is the customer and I am a customer support agent. Now think about two cases. Let's say Praveen wants to connect to customer support, and I say, "Hey, hi Praveen, what is your concern? How can I help you?" And then Praveen will talk about like, "Oh, I wanted to return an item. It was bad quality." Versus, let's say we already know, I mean, me as a customer support agent, if I already know that, okay, Praveen wants to connect with me regarding some return request. So in that case, I'll be saying, hey, hi, Praveen, I understand your concern that you want to return an item. So definitely there is a change, right? So the latter one is certainly better. So how can you do this? How can you build this product, right? So if you see the screenshot on the right, that you see a broad classification like my orders, return exchange, payment and vouchers, my account, right? So let's say Praveen was not happy with a particular product that was delivered, he will click on return exchange. And once he clicks on return exchange, there's a next screen which shows the list. Oh, I received the wrong product. I received a bad quality product. And let's say Praveen chooses I received a bad quality product. Of course, there is do it yourself again that he can only place a return request and exit the app. But in case, let's say he wants to talk to the customer support agent for some reason. So in that case, if at all he clicks on return exchange and he selects, I want to return a bad quality product. And once it gets connected to me, I already know that, okay, Praveen is coming for this particular reason. So all the customer action that is being taken here, it has to flow to the customer service portal, right? And one more thing is, how am I saying, hi, Praveen, I understand this. So again, we already know that the logged in user is Praveen, right? So, I mean, for accessing customer support, the customer should definitely be logged in to the app. So we know that Praveen is coming. He has this two recent orders. So possibly, let's say there is one upcoming order and one delivered order. And if at all he has clicked on return exchange, it would most probably be about the delivered order. So all this information has to be very tightly coupled with your customer support portal. So how will this help? For the customer, there is a speedy resolution because Praveen does not have to say that, okay, this is the problem and all. And the tech has already told the customer support agent. So that is good for the customer that he gets a speedy resolution. And what is good for business? So for business, it reduces the time taken by the customer support agent to resolve a ticket. And that is what is called as average handle time. Okay, so if at all Bhavana was able to handle 3 tickets in 5 minutes, now with this probably I'll be able to close tickets much more quickly, and I'll be able to in the same 5 minutes possibly I'll be able to handle, let's say, 5 tickets. So that is how it's a win-win for the customer and for the business. And coming to the last one in building effective customer support portal is chatbot. I think all of you would have definitely interacted with a chatbot at least once. And what will you build in a chatbot? It should be about answering your top 5 to 10 customer queries, right? So, of course, a customer support will get hundreds of questions, right? Which is of a very, very broad variety. Of course, you should be able to, as a product manager or as a person sitting in customer support, you should be able to categorize them and put it into buckets. And then we have to make sure that the chatbot is able to answer at least 5 to 10 queries. So if you see here, this is the chatbot of Big Basket, and you will see the three main topics here. One is upcoming orders or delivered orders and others. So in upcoming orders, what you will, the queries that you can expect is, where is my order? So for that, it could be a very simple reply that, okay, if at all the order was supposed to be delivered before 7 p.m., and if at all the customer is reaching out, let's say at 6 o'clock, where is my order? No, so you can say it will be delivered before 7 p.m. And now if at all the customer is asking my order is delayed, so I think probably the customer is coming after 7 o'clock. Maybe the customer is coming at 8 o'clock and asking like, where the hell is my order? My order is delayed. So in that case, you can say that, hey, I know. I mean, the chatbot can say, I understand that the order should have been delivered by 7 p.m. but due to some operational constraints because of heavy rain or whatever, there has been a delay. We are trying to deliver it by 8 p.m. Right? So that is what the bot can reply. And the last one is interesting because it says the customer is saying that I got an SMS stating the order is delivered, but it has actually not been delivered. So now this has to be treated as a high priority complaint, right? Because the there are these cases which will definitely happen where the delivery person has marked an order as delivered, right? But actually he is about to deliver it, let's say in the next 15 minutes. So to avoid the delayed delivery complaint, there are cases where delivery folks can mark the order as delivered when they know that, oh, they'll be about to deliver in like 15 minutes. So this one has to be treated as a high priority complaint so that a customer support agent, though this is a chat, but for complaints like this, it makes sense for us to kind of call the customer and say, hey, sorry, this happened. I just had a word with the delivery executor. He should be reaching in about 5-10 minutes. So that is what is how, I mean, that's the way of handling a concern, having, I mean, like how I can say is that's how we should handle a complaint or such a case very, very gracefully. And coming to deliver orders, it is very simple. That people may say, I'm not happy with the quality of products. I have received a wrong product. And again, here the last one is interesting, where it says few items were built, but it was not delivered. Right? See, in case of groceries, what happens is people, let's say the number of items in the order is, let's say, more than 10. Right? But in fashion, that may not be the case. That may not be a very common case. You typically order, let's say, one or two, or let's say five items to be in your bag. And that too, it could potentially be delivered at different times. But in case of groceries, what happens is most of your items get delivered at once. And now, if at all the delivery executive was supposed to carry 3 crates to the customer's location, and let's say he has only carried 2 crates, the items in the other crate, it would be missing, right? So in this case, what has happened is the customer is billed and they're expecting all 20 items, right? The customer is expecting all 20 items, but let's say only 15 were delivered. So this is a very high priority complaint again, where customers are saying items were billed. I was charged for all those 20 items, but I've gotten only 50 items. So all of this again will be treated as a complaint and it will flow to the complaint management system. So yeah, that was about customer building effective customer service portal. Now you have done all this, you have sent that right communication, you're trying to engage customers with your promotional communication, and then you have ensured good enough customer support. So now how do you collect feedback, right? You want to know what customers think of you, right? So we can collect feedback at 2 times. So this slide, and then we have only one another slide. So how do you collect customer feedback? So we can collect it at 2 important points. One is after order placement and one is after order delivery. So after order placement, you can always show a thank you page saying, hey, thank you for placing the order with us. How is your experience? Right? So that is what you will see here. Now, if at all the customer was unhappy about the shopping journey, let's say they face some glitches in the payment or anything. So let's say if a customer gives 3 star or less than 3, then you can ask them to share more feedback, right? So you can say, hey, we are sorry for the convenience. Can you give us more feedback of what really went wrong, right? So you can give that button here saying give feedback. And whatever gets entered here, you can definitely use it. You can definitely use that feedback to enhance your product, right? So this feedback is very important to improve your shopping journey, right? Because they would have just placed the order, they would have gone through all the pages, and then if at all they did not like something, they would have definitely written it down there in that feedback. So this is what this feedback is what you can use to improve your shopping journey. And here is a quick tip on how you can optimize your App Store or Google Play ratings. Okay. So if at all customer is giving 4 stars or 5 stars, then show them a different pop-up and ask them that, hey, we are glad that you're enjoying our app. Can you rate us on the App Store or can you rate us on Google Play? And you can give a CTA, right? You can give a button saying rate us, and it can take the user to the App Store or the Play Store. So this is a hack of improving the App Store ratings, right? So if it is more than 4, whenever customer gets 4 or 5 stars, give the button, give the action to give the action to the customer so that they can rate your app on the App Store, Play Store. If it's less than or equal to 3, collect more feedback, see what the customers are saying, and then you can send it to the CRM tool, the customer relationship management tool. And again, if at all we see that, let's say Praveen as a customer, he is constantly rating us 2 stars for the last 3 orders, then you could possibly tag him as a VIP customer, right? So again, this is also an important feature in customer support. Let's say a person, Praveen as a customer, he is being unhappy for the last 3 times. So you can tag him as a VIP customer so that the next time he orders, all the processes will have a better quality control. So for example, the items that will be picked, it will be double checked. And then even before sending for delivery, possibly the best delivery person would be assigned to that order, right? Just to ensure that at least the next time he has a good experience with the app, right? So you can call it VIP tag or VIP order. So whenever we see that a particular customer has been unhappy for the last 2 times, right? Because we just saw the poll, they give 3 chances, and then if it is bad, then we all switch to our competitors. So if at all you also see that there are customers who are constantly giving you bad ratings for the last 2-3 times, high time that you tag them as VIP and take special care about them. So yeah, coming to the last point is how can you collect customer feedback after order delivery, right? So this is again a screenshot of Big Basket's feedback of which will be shown after the order is delivered. So here what they're asking is rate your overall experience and rate the delivery person, right? So let's say I give 5 stars for the delivery person, and let's say I gave 3 stars because let's say the apples that I ordered were not great for some reason. So in that case, if at all a customer gives less than 3 stars, then you would want to know more. Okay, what really went wrong? Was it like late delivery? Was it product quality? Was it like missing items? What was it? So you would want to know why the experience was bad. But if at all it is 4 and 5, then great. The customer can proceed to submitting the feedback. So again, how will you use this feedback? You would use this feedback to improve your overall operation, right? So the overall experience, the shopping experience you've already collected. The next part, what we are collecting here is more about whether they were able to track the order, whether it was delayed, whether the products were good, right? So it is very important that you collect feedback after the order was delivered, right? And typically what I've seen is companies send this NPS survey, Net Promoter Score survey, after every 5 orders. And this can be sent via SMS and emails. So that is what eventually gets used to calculate your NPS score, to figure out how much customers are liking your brand or not liking your brand, right? And the Redbus case study is very, very interesting. I also got to learn when I was preparing the PPT. So what Redbus does is, let's say I had booked a ticket from Bangalore to Trivandrum, and I completed that journey. So once I've completed the journey at Trivandrum, Redbus, and like I said, Redbus is a platform which is used for booking tickets online. So once I've completed the journey, Redbus will send a push notification asking how was your journey, right? Like how was the bus? What did it arrive on time? Did it start on time? What was it, right? Like various feedback points. Now let's say notifications was turned off in my phone. So if I didn't respond to that push notification, Redbus will again send a WhatsApp message saying, okay, hey, can you rate us? How was the journey? Now, if I did not respond on WhatsApp also, it then sends an email asking for feedback. Can you spare a minute to share feedback on the journey? So the very interesting thing here is the Redbus is not sending push notification, WhatsApp message, email at once. It doesn't. It should not be like you're bombarding the customer or like bombarding the customer with SMS, push notification, emails asking for feedback. It is rather sent in series, right? So if one doesn't work, then go to another channel, and that also doesn't work, then send it in another channel also. So sending this emails asking for feedback, if at all you can do it in series, that will be a great idea. So yeah, that's pretty much that I wanted to talk about. And the point is having a great customer support team, and not just the team. I would say having a great customer support portal, building the right product, right? Be it automated service, having that right chatbot. All of this really brings delight to customers, and those customers will become your brand ambassadors, right? They will further tell, oh, this app you should try. It was really good. So when you build that loyalty, that is what drives the customer retention. So this is again a review written about Amazon on the Play Store, where he's saying that Amazon has the best customer service and they do care about their customers. And even when he had a problem, it was resolved in a nice way, right? And I also did a very similar survey recently on LinkedIn, that how many chances would you give to the customer support of a brand. So there also 95% of them said that they will only give a maximum of 3 chances before they switch to a different app. So yeah, so I will end it here by saying that it's very important for us to handle the customers in a very graceful way whenever they have queries or complaints or requests, because that is when they will actually go and rate your app 4 stars or 5 stars on the Play Store and App Store. Great, thank you, thanks everyone. So just one thing before we start the question and answer. So I blog about product management, design, user experience, SEO. I write regularly on LinkedIn, so you can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Bhavana Angadi. And apart from that, if you're looking for any mentorship on product management, any guidance, if you're looking to transition into PM or product consulting or design consulting, you can check out hellobhavana.com. Thank you.
Absolutely informative presentation there, Bhavana. Thank you so much. And to our audience members, I understand if you need to run, but just remember that there is one more session about how to empower your end users so your product development can continue to grow and expand that you don't want to miss. Before we dive into questions, be sure to check out the next episode in this series, The Ultimate Guide to Creating a Strong and Effective Value Proposition, with product coach and CEO of the Product Refinery, Robin Zaragoza. Alrighty, so with our time remaining, let's go ahead and cover some audience questions. So our very first question here is from Kieran. He wants to know, how do you communicate bad news to a customer and what is the best method? And for an example, he said like being unable to deliver a certain product to a customer.
Right. Oh, very good question. So yeah, see, whenever we are sending some bad news to the customer, it is very important to be empathetic, right? So only when we are empathetic in our communication, that is when even the customers will be a little, forgiven, like they can forgive us, right? So for example, let's say Michelle ordered 20 items, but only 19 items got delivered. So in that case, you can say that, hey, sorry. Generally, we ensure that we deliver all 100% of the items. Like the fill rate, that is what the term is. The fill rate is generally 99%, but there are these cases which happen sometimes. And the reason that we could not deliver is it was not of the expected quality. It was not up to the mark, and we do not want to send a bad quality product or a low quality product to the customer. So we are sorry about it, and if you really require it, of course, we can arrange for it. Right. So it's very important for us to be empathetic whenever we are delivering that bad news. right? And I can give you another example of delayed delivery. So let's say the order was supposed to be delivered before 7 p.m. and let's say the customer is reaching out to you at 7:30. So you already know that, okay, we have crossed that deadline, right? So it's very important that you put this message in the order tracking system itself, saying that, hey, we understand it should have been delivered before 7 p.m. Sorry, we are running late. And if you can mention a reason, right? So let's say there was heavy rain. So it took more time, right? I mean, if you put like things like, oh, there was heavy traffic, of course no one is going to buy it, right? Because you should already have planned for it. But if at all there are genuine reasons, like, okay, there has been floods or there has been heavy rain or vehicle breakdown, right? So there are cases where there is vehicle breakdown also, because of which in that case that order has to be taken up by some other delivery partner and then delivered. So if you can tell the reason to the customer, trust me, they will definitely understand and they will not raise. They will not raise a customer support ticket. Yeah.
Great answer there. He actually has a follow-up question. He wants to know if being
Mm.
proactive here, if being proactive at this point, if it works.
Yes, being proactive is the best thing that you can do. Okay. So I'll give you another example what Big Basket did. Okay. So last year, when the COVID crisis hit us in April, so the demand spiked like crazy. So the demand was more like 3x or 6x. So definitely, Big Basket as a company, we were not prepared to deliver so many orders, right? And many people started complaining on Twitter that I'm not able to find the slot, right? Many people, they looked forward to online orders, online groceries when there were lockdowns, right? So in that case, we sent proactive communication via email saying that, hey, we understand that we have a problem at our end, that most of you are not even able to find the slot to place an order. So, but we are working on it. We are working on optimizing our operations, right? And we even said that, so let's say we had around
Thank
10,000
you, Karen,
delivery
for that
partners.
for that question here. Our next question is from Kevin. He wants
Yeah,
to know how
yeah,
many push notifications can be sent in a day.
right. Oh, good question. See, I would suggest that you can send one push notification, maximum of two, not more than that, because more than two can be like quite. It can become like a spam, right? So you would rather send one or maximum two per day, and ensure that the customer won't turn off your push notifications. Yeah,
Great answer there again. I have another question from Karen.
sure.
He wants to know if creating a persona for an angry slash unhappy customer, if that is the right way to resolve flaws within the product.
Yes, that definitely helps. So the feature that I was talking about, the VIP tag, right? So VIP, like very important person tag. So that could definitely help. So if you know that Michelle as a customer has had bad customer experience for the last 2, 3 times, it is very important to uh, add that tag for Michelle saying VIP order or something else like disappointed customer as the persona, and make sure that every process in the order journey, it is kind of double checked to ensure best customer experience for such personas.
Karen, thank you so much for putting in those questions. If you do have any more questions, go ahead and submit those into the chat, and we'll go ahead and we'll
Right.
ask during these last 5 to 6 minutes that we have Bhavana here. Our next question is from Megan. She wants to know if it is better to build a chat box in-house or integrate with a third-party chat box.
Okay, see, chatbot, I would say you can go for third-party chatbots, because see there is a lot of intelligence which would be built in a chatbot product, right? So building it in-house will take more time. Of course, if you have the resources, you can always build a chatbot in-house. But I think a good solution or a good way to get started would be to integrate with a third-party chatbot and kind of get started. Of course, you can optimize it for your business needs, right? So for Big Basket, it was different, and possibly for Mintra, it would be different. So yeah, I would say third party is the best.
Great answer then again. Megan, if you do have any follow-ups, go ahead and put those into the chat. Our next comment slash question here is from Emily. She says that her company is trying to develop a clear way of communicating with their customers, but they're running into a lot of issues. She wants to know, what are common issues that you have seen with customer engagement slash support portals, and how would you combat them?
Okay. Okay, so the question is, what are the common issues that I have seen with respect to customer support? Is that right, Michelle?
Correct.
Right. See, one of the things which I have observed is there are many e-commerce companies who try to hide the customer support entry point, right? So they make it really difficult for the customer to even get to the customer service portal, right? Just because they want customer to figure out as much as possible or possibly give up on it, right? And recently there has been e-commerce laws in India where they say that you have to put up the customer care number right up front on the homepage or somewhere where the customers can very easily see and navigate. Right. So having that right UI, like and the right navigation to be able to go to customer support is very important because again it builds a trust factor in the customer saying that okay, when if I have a problem, I'll be able to reach out to the customer support easily. Right. It shouldn't be like okay, it shouldn't be a hide and seek there.
Great answer there, Bhavana. Our last question here is from John. He says that his customer success team feels slightly overwhelmed with the amount of feedback that comes in. And we do have a lot of our other attendees who feel the same way. And he wants to know, what's the best way to organize this feedback so that the team can support the customer in a timely manner?
Right. So the question is, how can customer support teams be more effective and efficient? Right, Michelle?
Correct.
Right. So I'll just I mean here I'll just show you this. Right. So there are various categories here. So there is my orders, there's return exchange, there's payments and vouchers. So what we can do is, let's say we have dedicated 10 people to take care of my orders, dedicated 10 people to take care of return exchange tickets, and let's say 10 people to take care of payment and vouchers. In this case, what can happen is those 10 people who are taking care of payment and vouchers related tickets, they can keep they can be updated with any latest information on the, let's say a payment product was released recently, some new features were released in the payment page. So it's very important for the product managers to keep the customer support team also informed about what changes they did. Maybe the failure rates increased, we never know, right? So it's very important to keep the customer support teams informed about any changes that we do. And like I said, if at all we can break it down, if we can break down the customer support teams into different teams, like one for return exchange, one for payment vouchers, these people can be updated. They can have the updated information and they can better answer customer queries. So that might help, Michelle. Yeah.
Great answer there again, Bhavana. And thank you to all of our attendees for asking those questions. They were incredibly insightful. And with that, that is all the time that we have for today. I hope everyone had half as much fun as I did and learned as much as I did. Thanks to our sponsor, Logi Analytics, our incredible guest, Bhavana and Angadi. And if you guys do have any more questions or would like to learn more about her work, please reach out to her on LinkedIn. And thank all of you for attending. I'm Michelle, and I hope you all have a wonderfully productive week.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Thanks to product management today and Logi Analytics for giving me an opportunity and giving me a platform to share my knowledge. Thanks everyone for attending.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.